Spectres of Brocken, by Aaron Lim, is a GM-less narrative mech TTRPG about friends turning into enemies. The game is separated into two phases in this TTRPG, the Academy phase, where every pilot is still finding their footing in this world and slowly building up who they will become, and Conflict phase, where shit has kicked the Jenga tower that's the polite-based international ruling system, and every pilot found themselves staring down the barrels in the opposite sides of the conflict. As there's no GM, each player gets to play as their own pilot on the table, and you have to choose to write down one of the following at the start: conviction, impulse, pride, or flaw, each representing a characteristic of your pilot, and while you only write down one at character creation, that's what Academy phase is for, to figure out how you want your pilot to be. There's also bond, which is used to determine your relationship with another pilot. Insert title tagline here. You can also pick a theme song for your pilot because, of course you have to get one. It's a mech RPG. Then finally, it's time to seed the word bank. As Spectres of Brocken is a purely narrative game, the word bank is used by the players to narrate the stories. First, a scene is constructed by combining two situations together, and a question is asked to be the focus of the scene. Then, by using the three core words provided from the phases and one each from each players, the pilot uses these words through specific moves to build the setting and world from it, adding details to it bit by bit, and by adding new words to the pool, other players can use these new words to step off the story in a new direction. This is also how the players define new traits and bonds for their pilots, gaining words of their own into their character sheet to make a pilot's personality shine through the situation, whether their own, or others. The more you add to the story, the more these pilots get to define their personalities and relationship to each other. It's always fun to have these pilots to not be who they seem at first. In essence, Academy phase is a lot of building up the characters and the world, which makes it all the harder when it all comes crashing down. Naturally, with how the game going deep into the theme of war and conflict, you will want to figure out everyone's boundaries to keep the game safe for everyone. Probably one of the easiest way to do it is slap a rating guide to the campaign like a TV show, so the players can get an idea of how much violence they should expect. As Academy phase comes to an end with a question, there's a brief in between phases for players to discuss, like what word they like to use more, what reveal is the most exciting, or just use the time to properly redefine the traits of your pilots, further detailing who they are, just so you know how much they can lose once conflict phase begins. At the start of conflict phases, the players get to write onto the conflict sheet, detailing the various factions in this conflict along with their wants and key assets, as well as establishing an igniting incident that sparked the whole damn war. If you are using one of the three world tendencies as the setting, just write those down, but nothing is stopping your group from writing their own together. For the pilots, you get to look at the other half of your character sheet, to add call sign to them, change how they look, and write down an anchor, relationship you have for any non-pilot characters or objects, for each traits or bonds you have filled in, and write in any you haven't. These anchors represent new relationship or ideals your pilot have gained in between the time, for better or worse, and now, a situation is chosen, a complication is added, and a question is asked between the pilots. Also, for each pilot joined in the scene, add one blood token to the pool. Blood token represents the violence and the cost of the war. It also roughly indicate how long the scene will last. You also get your mech. The features of it remain undefined for now, until you get to have a scene to dynamically write in these newly revealed features to solve a problem, or fail at solving it, as battle often does. During conflict phase, each player might get a rather messy reunion with each other, driving up drama to create tension and moments of antagonism among each other as the factions they have joined in pushed them into conflict. Here, the word bank is still in play, driving conversations between the players, but with a pile of blood tokens on the table, someone will have to take the cost, and if one were to gain blood, they will always lose something, whether a piece of themselves, like your bonds or traits, or their connection with someone or something, because the thing they had anchors with are dead or destroyed. Once there's no more blood on the table, or when the question has been answered by all players, only then does the fight end, until the next one. However, if you have banked words on your pilot sheet, you can use it to try to talk to the other side, reach out, despite all the risks you are taking, and maybe, just maybe, someone will lose less today, or even gain something more, a new trait, or bond. Conflict will always take something out of people, even if it's not obvious at first, but by connecting with people, even your enemies who might be more similar to you than you think, you might be able to gain back something you have lost. It's not a guarantee, but if you don't try, what is your humanity for? After a few conflict scenes, it's time for the epilogue. could be set maybe in the immediate aftermath of the war, could be 10 or 50 years from now. The players with the most blood token will have to answer the question first, one of them, followed by the second most, third, and so on. Questions like, whose death impacted you the most, what cherishes memory now twist your heart when you look back at it, how are you forever changed by your actions in the war, how your mech become a potent and enduring icon of the war, and so on. You don't need to answer a question for every blood token you got, just one, maybe leave the rest unanswered. Sometimes, there's no real answer to a question, sometimes, you don't want an answer, because you know it already. And that's basically it on Spectres of Brocken, a mech-themed narrative TTRPG about making friends and then going to war against them in giant robot. So, this book was doing its worst making my life hell in an attempt to review it, mostly because, a mech TTRPG with no math, are you trying to kill me Aaron Lim? That's a joke, but the other thing was that every time I even think about reviewing it, a bloody war gets started, twice. I don't want to make topical shit, I don't like that, especially one that involved a topic as heavy as this, but anyway, I finally got it out of the door, it's done. I have a feeling I will be using this meme more often than I liked last time, and I was unfortunately right. That said, I still very much enjoyed this book coming from another writer from Southeast Asia, and I hope you too will enjoy it. You can get the book now from itch.io. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.